Well, hello. My name is Mike Stewart, and I'm running for State Senate in Tacoma's 27th District. And thank you very much for joining us here as we continue our pursuit towards 75 issues. We are now all the way to issue 56, and we're going to make it, Issue 56 is real estate contractor license silos. And so, again, through our issues, we're not trying to present ourselves as finished thinking. We're trying to present ourselves as, the entry to thinking on kind of a more focused topic subject. And in our case here today, we're going to be talking about licenses and silos. Because here's what's happening now in Washington too much. You're getting, and I'm a part of this world, but, we all conduct ourselves differently. We're getting people in the construction tech, real estate, whatever, prop tech, whatever they want to call it, market. And what they're doing is they're carrying multiple licenses. And then essentially you don't have to make any money in one, like if you do a real estate transaction and you make 3% on $1 million and 30 grand, essentially, you can run your remodelers and they don't even need to make any money because they're already subsidized by VC on top of that. And so where does this leave regular remodelers, who don't work for some brand that's subsidizing, double subsidizing, like bringing rates to the table that are not realistic because they made it on the real estate rip. And so what I'm proposing is, over a certain size, like if you're a small operator and it's just how you do your thing, that's not the story here. We're talking about kind of large people that want to fail until they take enough people out to take over a space. And so we don't want to reward inefficiency here, no matter how many subsidies it takes. And so what we're looking at are issues like title, escrow, general contractors, real estate, and so mortgage. I mean, there's all these little white collar, kind of groups around the construction industry that all require a license. And, we want people from Washington to engage in these industries and benefit in these industries. Because what's happening now is you're taking people's ability to be free, to own their own companies and do their own hours and this and that. And now they're a paid contract employee for some, big California corporate. And, just losing money, but they don't care. And then eventually their investors are like, well, you're garbage. And then, the people are just stuck. And so instead of that, my proposal is, we don't want fee-based builders here. We don't want that kind of stuff, it's through this model. We want people that are able to run their own companies, work their own hours, go to their kids' baseball games, go to their daughter's ballet, keep those local dollars here. And so, we propose breaking it up where anyone who holds more than one license over a certain threshold of, the industry's named and others that'll be connected, you can't do that here. We're gonna kind of put the kibosh on that. And so even if you try and play these little witty games where it's interconnected LLCs and blah, 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 like we're pretty smart. And if the state's not smart enough, we can find other people who are. And so we'll find it. But, we don't want that. We don't want to play this game of cat and mouse. And, we are going to be ramping up penalties on the cat and mouse, but not yet. Because Washington is for Washingtonians, Washington isn't for people from some other country trying to hack you and steal your stuff and, do the same regular job you've been doing with some stupid subsidy that puts you out of business. And so if we don't stand up for those people, who will? I mean, the industry's not. So, I mean, they're like, they don't get tech. They don't get construction tech. Like, it's incredible, but that's a side note. We need to keep this, and it's very easy to research. It's very easy to identify. It's very easy to break up. And people will have a choice to make and they'll have to sell apart. And that's just the way it is. We'll play some lawyer games and this and that, but eventually in the end, we're not going to let you take double subsidies and put Washingtonians out of work to create fee-based employees versus people, who very well could have been owners. And so that's going to be our line. And, I know with tech, a lot of people have just kind of stayed out of the way and rolled over and said, oh, we can't regulate it, we can't do that. Like, let me explain it to you. Coming through Washington, there's going to be a lane that people can operate in. And there's rules to the game in that lane. But when you get out of that lane, we're going to come get you. And it can't be any other way anymore. You can't just do all things because you can. it's, you know, look, I mean, it's like you can't clone. Like, that's an example, right? There's more. And so I know we have an issue coming where, you know, we're starting to highlight, you know, some new industries, which, you know, I don't care what the other states say, but, like, you know, speaking for Washington, it's just going to be a hard no. And, you know, we'll take it from there. We got plenty of lawyers and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, so yeah. But again, what we're trying to do is, you know, by breaking up these, you know, essentially racketeers, by breaking them up, what we're trying to do is we're trying to lower the cost of housing again. And these are not the answers, like how it's kind of shaping up and, you know, the positioning of where they have people and things like that. There's a way to create balance within tech and traditional when it comes to construction. It's not all or none. It's not unregulated, because you got one side that's very pragmatic, you know, hard mentality, money earned, money in, money borrowed, money, you know, money levered. And then you got the other side that's more kind of free money approach, the venture capital, you know, no personal guarantees, you know, we'll just buy the market, you know, we'll crunch the market, we'll, you know, very different approach over here. So we need to get involved and we need to say what our rules are, because as we create a better rule book for people to own, operate, and construct residential real estate in our state, we're going to be able to better control the fluctuations in the real estate market, because we're going to be able to be pulling some of those costs down on a consistent basis. So that completes our first issue, which was issue 56. So thank you very much for joining us, and we are going to move on now to issue 57.